Hey, what's going on? It's Victor Chambers here, back with another video. And I want to do a bit of a special video in the sense that I want to actually answer some of the questions you guys have asked me directly, whether on the channel or through emails or what have you. You guys have done a great job at just engaging with the content and asking great questions. And so while I do try to respond to every single comment and every single question, I think it's beneficial, it would be beneficial to this entire audience to actually hear me answer some of these questions in a consolidated video. And tell me if you like me doing these kinds of videos. I'll do more of them in the future, and definitely welcome you guys sending me your questions and things like that. So I just want to be as helpful as possible. So without any further ado, I have some questions here, and I'm just going to jump right into them. So the first question is, do you package your documents or do you send them back in the order you receive them? So that's a great question. I actually always follow, as you should, follow the instructions given to you by the signing service or by the title or escrow company. Typically, they will send you the documents or send you the package. It has a certain order. There's a certain methodology to that. I can't really explain it, but you can tell by the way they're packaged. There's a certain methodology to the way they order the documents in most cases. And sometimes signing services or title companies won't be explicit about the page order. And so if they're not explicit or they don't give instructions about how they want the package returned or dropped back to them in terms of the order or how they want it, scanned back, what order they want it scanned back in, I'll just leave it in the order the package was sent to me in. So if you saw my video on how I prepare for loan signing and how I prepare a loan package, you would have saw that I'll take the critical documents out, put them on top, but then I put kind of a sticky as a placeholder so I can remember where they were, so that I can return the package in the order I received it if they don't explicitly say that they want a certain order. Now, I've done quite a lot of orders where they do specify that they want the documents in a certain order, and they call that the stacking order. And so that can vary, but typically they would like you sometimes to pull the closing disclosure, the ALTA, the note, the mortgage, any deed or any transfer documents. They would like those to be on the top typically. Now, again, you have to follow the instructions given to you by the signing service or title company, but many of them will want the documents. If they specify an order, they'll want them in a certain order. And typically, like I said, those documents that stand out are the CD, the note, the mortgage, the ALTA, and any deed or any transfer document. So again, it can be different from signing service to signing service and from assignment to assignment. So you just have to be sure to follow the instructions. But it's either putting them in the order they requested or returning them in the order I got them in. So that's how I package the documents when I send them back. The second question is, which is more lucrative in your opinion, notary signings or real estate? Now, if you're new to the channel, you'll know that I am also a full-time licensed real estate agent in addition to doing loan signings full-time. So I have a lot on my plate. And this is really a good question because it's something that I think about quite a bit in terms of whether real estate, being a real estate agent is more lucrative or doing signings. I'll say this. As a real estate agent, you are working a commission-based job or a commission-based career, right? And the checks are bigger, obviously, because you're selling. In my case, the median home price in my area is like $450,000. So let's say if the total commission of a $450,000 house is 6%, and I'm getting half of that, that's 3% of $450,000, which is, I should know this, it was roughly $13,000, $13,500. Now my broker gets a split of that, and a split of that goes to my team. So I'll walk away with a little more than half of that. So probably 60% of that, or 60, 70% of that 60% I'll walk away with at the end of the day. So we're talking about $8,000 for a real estate transaction. Now, I've also done things in real estate like wholesaling, where the checks are even bigger than that. So $20,000 in a check. So the answer to the question of, is real estate more lucrative? I would say yes. More lucrative than loan signings. In loan signings, you're making, it's an invoice-based business. So, you get paid as you complete an assignment, which is typically much faster than doing a real estate transaction and getting a commission check. But it's active income. You're not waiting, to close, 2, 3 months, 4 months that you experience sometimes in real estate to close transactions. You're getting paid in 30 days or less typically. So it's obviously a very different model. Real estate is more lucrative, but with that, I would say it is more time intensive. It's more people intensive. It's more emotional because you're dealing with people, buying what may be their biggest investment, their biggest transaction. It's emotional. It's time intensive. It's stressful. There's a lot of moving parts, to real estate transactions in buying and selling. And so with that more money in real estate comes more headaches and more stress and just more moving parts, like I said. So you kind of got to weigh it out, in terms of if you're thinking about doing one or the other or both. You got to weigh it out, right? Do you want more money and more stress, or maybe less money, less stress, more flexibility in a sense. But they're both great businesses. I love what I do as a real estate agent and as an investor, and also doing loan signing. So I kind of feel like I have the best of both worlds. So, I really enjoy it. But to answer the question, real estate is definitely more lucrative without a doubt. Another thing I'll say in answering that question is, being a real estate agent requires a lot more investment in terms of time and money to market yourself, to get out there, to gain the trust of people, to actually represent them in transactions. Again, to get out there and to market yourself, to do direct mail or to cold call and do all these different things. It's very time intensive and can be very expensive, especially when you're getting started. So while you make more money, you're actually putting out more money to actually maintain and run a business, in my opinion. So, that's you got to weigh it out. So the next question is, what is your goal with loan signing? Is it a side hustle until your real estate really takes off, or do you thoroughly enjoy loan signing and will continue to do it? So that's also another great question. Kind of something I answered in the last question as well, but I think it's a great question. I don't see doing loan signings as a side hustle. I see it as a full-fledged business. Just like my real estate agent business, I see it as a full-fledged business, and I run both of them all the time at the same time. And while that's challenging and it keeps me very busy, business in general has ebbs and flows, or peaks and valleys. Especially it's a sales-based business. They're both in a sense sales-based businesses. But I don't really see them as side hustles. And me, when I think about side hustle, I kind of think, Uber Eats or DoorDash or Uber, and no slight on those. Those are great, but I don't think anyone. I don't know. I don't feel like anyone doing Uber Eats or DoorDash will do it forever. Or will build like a substantial business out of it. I may be wrong. I've never done them, but that's just my perspective and my opinion. Don't come at me, bro. But as with loan signings and a real estate business, you can actually build a real business, like a tangible empire. And the way I look at it is like, when I think about how legitimate of a business or how scalable a business is, I think about it in the sense of, can I grow this and give it away? Or can I grow it and sell it? Can I grow it and hand it down to my son, or to my children? That's kind of how I think about a business. Otherwise, if you can't hand it down or pass it down, it's just a job, and so obviously in the loan signing world, you can build your loan signing business to a signing service, right? And actually, sell that signing service. You can do a lot of different things in terms of growing and scaling it. And the same thing with the real estate business. I can buy properties, and I can pass those properties on to my kids, and things like that. So that to me is a business when you can actually transfer it to someone else, right? Something that you've built. And I just don't think other side hustles and things like that you can necessarily do that with all the time. So like I said again, no slight on the Uber Eats and the Uber and the Lyft and the DoorDash. I think those are great, especially if you want to get out and hustle and make some money. But I don't put doing loan signings in the same category as those things. Not that one is better than the other, or worse, or whatever. It's just I don't put them kind of on the same playing field. But that's just my opinion. Again, don't come at me. The next question is, Victor, how are you doing your scan backs from your car? Do you have Wi-Fi set up in your car and a portable scanner? So if you watched my video on my favorite apps or must-have apps, you would have saw that I like TurboScan, the app on my iPhone, and that's how I'm currently doing my scannings. That will probably change in the very near future as I get busier and time becomes more valuable in the sense of doing scan backs. So I don't have a setup in my car. I don't have a mobile printer. I don't have, any of this stuff in my car. I don't have Wi-Fi in my car. I just have my phone. And so, I have pulled over before and done scan backs in the back of my trunk, on a flat surface, and just scanned in, using TurboScan, email it to myself. I carry my laptop around with me. I'll stop somewhere, get internet access, or use my phone, because I don't, always use public Wi-Fi, especially for this kind of thing. And I'll, download the documents once I scan them in and upload them, or just wait till I get home, and do it, because that way I have, great internet and I can, upload them pretty quickly. But I don't have a mobile setup. I don't have a printer or a scanner in my car. I just do it from my phone and, pull over and to do a scan back if I have to. So hope that answers that question. The next question, if you don't have a car, can I scan back the documents at the signing table, or do you recommend that? I don't recommend doing scan backs or scanning documents at the signing table. With this pandemic, as a loan signing agent, being in and out of people's houses, you should try and really endeavor to be as efficient as possible. And signing services and title companies will tell you the same thing. They want you to spend as little time with the borrower as possible to limit and reduce any exposure to, the virus. So I don't do scan backs at the table. I don't recommend doing them at the table. Do them in your car, as I mentioned, or do them when you get back home. You want to limit your exposure to other people, and especially to the borrowers, because the fact is, if you get sick, you're going to be out of commission for a week or two potentially, and you don't work, you don't make money. So limit your exposure. Do them in your car, or wait till you get back home to do them. Don't do them at the signing table. The next question is, what is the trick to getting signature closer jobs? I request all day long, but even if I instantly click on the notice by signature catch, it opens it and it's already been assigned to someone else. So I don't think there's any trick. I think you just have to stay on top of those notifications. As soon as you get it, open it up and accept every single time. Do that every time. And eventually you'll start getting assignments, because everyone's not going to always, be on top of it. So, sometimes I get them in the middle of the night. So literally I wake up in the 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and I'll see, signature closers notifications. And sometimes I'll click on them and they're just sitting there. No one has accepted them. So that's when I'll go in and accept them. So quick hack, if you don't sleep too heavily and you wake up in the middle of the night, look at your notifications, and you might find some from signature closers, overnight, that you can actually sneak in and, accept those while other people are sleeping. So, I mean, without fail, I always get them in the middle of the night. But there's no trick or there's no real secret or hack, in my opinion, unless someone else out there knows something I don't know. But just stay on top of those notifications. Click on every single one. Try to accept every single one, and eventually you'll actually get an assignment. And once you get an assignment, you're getting on their radar pretty much, and that opens up more and more opportunity to you. So that's that. The next question is, what's the starting rate most signing agents come in on? Also, what's the average split the signing services offer? So there's no set rate that you as a signing agent come into the business on. Signings, the fees for signings really vary from signing service and from title company to title company. So there's no set rate. When you're getting started in this business, you really should focus on getting as much experience as possible. That's what I recommend, even if that means taking lower fees. And when you're starting out, unless you've talked to people and you know what some of the rates are, you don't really know what a good or bad rate is, or unless you've taken a course and you hear about what some of the rates are people are getting. But my thing is to not focus on what the fee is when you're getting started. Focus on really getting the experience, because that's what's going to really catapult you into being able to get higher fees later on and negotiate because you have that experience. So there's no set fee. Typically on a refinance, what I see through a signing service, that standard is anywhere from $85 to $100. Title companies, signings with them are typically, from what I've seen, from 125, 150 on up. So, and that's kind of what I've personally seen and what I've personally experienced. So there's no starting rate. In terms of the split of the signing service, you don't know when you're working with a signing service necessarily what the fee is that they're getting from the title company. It's not always on the CD or the Alta. You don't, everyone says it's there. It's not always there. I always look for it, and I almost never see what the full fee is. So, but maybe that's just in my state. Maybe that's just with the signing services that I've worked with. But you never see the fee, so you don't know what the split is. And I think that's probably good in a sense, because you're not worried about whether you're getting you're getting a fair split. Worry about that later. When you're getting started, you need to focus on getting the experience and becoming good at actually doing loan signings and not making mistakes. So I hope that helps. The next question is, don't borrowers get the paperwork in advance emailed to them so that they can read it over themselves? I was told in the class I took. If so, can't you just nicely remind them to look over those documents before the actual signing? So borrowers, in my experience, can get the package ahead of time if they request it. Not all borrowers know to request it or will actually request it, but they can actually get it in some cases, from what I understand, ahead of time if they want to actually review. And in fact, I did a signing the other day where the borrower actually had a printed out package herself, and she had went through all of it, and it made the signing actually a lot easier because she didn't really ask any questions. She kind of was familiar with what everything was, and her and her husband just had to sign. So that made life easier. But not all borrowers will do it or will know that they can do it. Your job, either way, as the signing agent, is to, present the documents to them, briefly explain what the document is, show them where to sign, notarize if you need to notarize. But they won't all know what every document is. And in many cases, you'll find signers that are refinancing for the first time. So it's maybe the first time that they've gone through the process. Maybe they purchased a house 15, 20 years ago, and are now refinancing, so you just never know kind of where people are. But like I said, sometimes they'll request the package, sometimes they won't. One key thing is to make sure that they know ahead of time whether whether they know that they owe money or not, and how much, because you can save yourself a trip, and you can probably save yourself printing a package if you talk to them ahead of time and make sure that they know whether they owe money or not. Because I've gotten to closings where they didn't know they owed money, and they were like, I'm not signing anything because these numbers aren't right. And at that point, I wasted a trip, I wasted toner, paper, and I've wasted my time. So definitely make sure that they know what the numbers are on the closing disclosure, what the cash to close, if anything is due. Make sure they know what that is, and are aware of what it is before the signing. I just wanted to answer a few of you guys' questions that I feel would benefit this entire audience, and hope you learned something from this, and hope my answers provided valuable insight to you. Feel free to comment down below, maybe if you disagree, or you kind of agree with any of the answers that I've had. Again, don't come at me. I'm being nice and transparent here and trying to be helpful. But like I said, hope you guys got value from this, and I'll do more of these as I get questions that I think would benefit this entire audience. I'll film more of these kind of videos in the future. But again, hope you got value. Don't forget to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification bell just so you'll be notified when I upload brand new content. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.